In this problem, we're going to evaluate a special order, actually two different special orders. One special order where we have a capacity constraint, and the second time when we don't have a capacity constraint. In this problem, it's going to turn out that our capacity constraint is direct labor hours. So the first thing we're going to do is calculate how much excess capacity we have currently, and then we'll next calculate our contribution margin per direct labor hour, because we're going to want to give up the product with the lowest contribution margin per direct labor hour, since that's our capacity constraint. All right, to begin with, our direct labor hour per unit for the Lightning 2.0, we take our $30 direct labor cost, divide it by the $20 per hour wage rate, and our Lightning 2.0 requires 1.5 hours. Lightning 2.4, our direct labor cost is $40, divided by our $20 wage rate, and it requires 2 hours of direct labor time per unit. Our current usage then is 1.5 hours per unit for the Lightning 2.0 times 4,000 units, plus 2 hours per unit for the Lightning 2.4 times 2,000 units, or 10,000 is our current usage, so we have excess capacity of 20 minus 10 of 10,000 hours. In terms of calculating our contribution margin per direct labor hour, we need to calculate first our contribution margin for each of our products. Our current selling price for the Lightning 2.0 is $290. Our variable cost is the $65 in direct labor, direct materials, plus $30 in direct labor, plus $15 in variable overhead, $110 per unit. So our contribution margin is $290 minus $110, $180 per unit. Since it takes 1.5 hours to make a Lightning 2.0, our contribution margin per direct labor hour that we work is $180, divided by 1.5, or $120 per hour. For the Lightning 2.4, we have a selling price of $390. Our variable cost is $75, plus $40 for direct labor, plus $20 in variable overhead, $135 per unit. 390 minus 135, our contribution margin is $255 per unit. Since it takes us 2 hours to make, our contribution margin per direct labor hour is $255 divided by 2, or $127.50 per direct labor hour. If faced with a choice on which product we would cut back first, we would cut back the Lightning 2.0, since we earn a lower contribution margin per hour of our constrained resource. In the first part of our problem, we're offered a special order from a customer, a one-time order, for 2,500 units of the Lightning 2.0 and of the Lightning 2.4 at selling prices or purchase prices of $200 for the Lightning 2 and $250 for the Lightning 2.4. Let's go ahead and calculate our contribution margin coming from this order, and also whether we have enough excess capacity to meet it. Again, our variable cost per unit for the Lightning 2.0 is $110, so our contribution margin on the Lightning 2.0 from this special order would be $200 minus 110, $90 a unit. We're going to be selling 2,500 units, so our total contribution margin for the Lightning 2.0 would be $225,000. For the Lightning 2.4, we have our variable cost of $135, giving us a contribution margin per unit of $115, or a total of 2,500 units times $115 per unit, $287,500. On a combined basis, the special order will bring in an additional $512,500. That is, if we have capacity to meet the order. Our Lightning 2.0 takes 1.5 hours to make. The order is for 2,500 units, so it will consume 3,750 hours. The Lightning 2.4, 2,500 units, times 2 hours per unit, it will consume 5,000 hours, for a total of 8,750 hours, which is within our excess capacity of 10,000 direct labor hours. So we don't have a constraint, and we can accept this special order. In the next scenario, we're told that this customer is willing to buy the Lightning 2 and the Lightning 2.4 in quantities of 3,500 for each product, no less. That's the minimum number that they will purchase. So we need to calculate our total contribution margin once again from accepting the special order, find out if we have a capacity shortage, which in this case we will, and then evaluate the lost contribution margin arising from that capacity shortage. So begin with variable cost for our Lightning 2.0, $110. And once again, we're making 200 minus the 110, $90 per unit. If we sell 3,500 units, our profit on the Lightning 2.0 will be $315,000 additional contribution margin. For the Lightning 2.4, our variable cost was $135 per unit, and again, our contribution margin, $250 minus the $135 is $115 per unit, for a total contribution margin on the Lightning 2.4 of $402,500. On a combined basis, this special order will increase our contribution margin by $715,500, assuming we don't have a capacity constraint. Let's go ahead and calculate the direct labor hours required for this special order. 3,500 units times 1.5 hours per unit for the Lightning 2.0. 3,500 units times 2 hours per unit for the Lightning 2.4. This special order is going to take a combined 12,250 hours, which means since we only have 10,000 hours available, we have a capacity shortage of 10,000 minus the 12,250 of 2,250 direct labor hours. Recall, since our contribution margin per direct labor hour is lowest for the Lightning 2.0, that's the product we will give up first. And if we lose $120 per direct labor hour, then in total, our lost contribution margin from regular channels will be the 2,250 hours, that's our capacity shortage, times $120 per hour, or $270,000. So the net increase in our profits from this special order will be the $717,500 coming in new contribution margin, less the $270,000 decrease from regular sales. So the net impact on our bottom line will be $447,500. In Part C, we're told that we have the ability to pay an overtime premium of $10 per hour, and also we will experience a $5 per hour increase in variable overhead for any overtime that is worked. Thus, our total overtime premium per hour is the $10 premium for direct labor, the $5 premium for variable overhead, or a total of $15 per hour. Since we had a capacity shortage of 2,550 hours, the additional cost that we're going to incur to meet the special order without cutting our regular production will be $15 per hour times the 2,250 hours, or $33,750. Thus, accepting the special order, assuming we can work overtime, will increase our profits by $717,500 coming in on the special order, minus the $33,750 in additional overtime costs for labor and variable overhead, for a total of $683,750. This would be the net increase in our income if we accept the special order for 3,500 units of both the Lightning 2 and the 2.4, and we can meet that order by paying an overtime premium, essentially of $15 per hour for the shortage that we have of 2,250 hours.